I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Village of, Village of Villa Park, August 28th, for the regular board meeting. Clerk Kornecki, please call the roll.
Yes, Trustee Aiello. Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Tucker.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
Trustee Silella.
Here.
President Bolfus.
Here. Let's all please stand for the pledge. Remain standing for prayer. I'll start the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Wagner, is that the prayer, please?
Thank you. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the peace and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is public comment on agenda items. Clerk Kornecki, do we have?
Yeah, we have no members of the public when wishing to speak.
Thank you. Any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move down to the consent agenda. Consent agenda has the minutes for the village COW and formal board meetings for August 14th, 2017, and the bill listing for the week of August 14th and August 21 for the total amount of $303,237.36. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee
Mr. President, I make that motion.
Do I have a second? Trustee Case?
I'll second.
Any questions? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Silella.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Item number 6, first reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adding collection agency fees to delinquent amounts due to the village. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. After seeing proposals, the village has hired a new collection agency, Municipal Collection Services, Inc., to track and collect outstanding village debts, primarily police tickets. Collection agencies retain a share of the funds that they successfully collect from debtors. In order to keep the village whole for these debts, we must adopt the ordinance in question that will add the cost of collection to debts that are sent to collection agencies. For example, assuming a ticket debt is $100, without the ordinance, the collection agency would try to collect a $100 debt. Once collected, the agency keeps 30% or $30, and the village would receive $70. With this ordinance, the debt would be increased to $130. Once collected, the agency would keep $30 per the terms of the agreement, and the village would receive $100. Thank you, Your Honor.
Gentlemen, for your information, as you remember, our agenda was changed. This item is our first reading of a ordinance that would change our village code. Therefore, there won't be any vote on it at this time, but we do have time for discussion. So if there's any questions or comments, Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Bolfus. Do we have a responsibility to disclose this to people when they, we don't have to disclose this to anyone?
When we send them a notice, we might add that on, but there's no legal liability to disclose it.
Okay.
You are supposed to know the laws of the federal government, of the state,
Oh.
and of your local ordinances.
Yeah, so, okay. And I know that this is going back a few years, there we had an issue with the collection of the fee for ambulance service. Is that the collection agency that we're now leaving, or is this a completely different collection agency?
Thank you, Your Honor. For the collection of ambulance fees, we use PBS billing. and they collect the fees, and then they have a process that is used to collect the amounts not paid. So this is different. And let me give you some examples. And as mentioned in the text, it's for police tickets, but it could be some adjudication. But we have some very unique circumstances, and I'm sure other communities are somewhat like us. For instance, Lombard charges the extra collection costs. But Kevin and I, Director Wachtel, and I look through aging reports, and every once in a while we come across some outliers that we've contacted these individuals and requested payment. We've contacted and we've contacted and we've contacted them. So just let me give you several different examples here. That we have one former employee which owes the village for insurance premiums that we've asked and we've asked and we've asked, and we've not been reimbursed. We have another former employee that has taken advantage of the uniform allowance, and we've provided them uniforms, and then that particular individual left our employee and went to another agency, and as part of the agreement, they're to reimburse us for the uniforms, and they have not done so after months and months and months of asking and sending letters. And so those are some outlier, unique cases, but that's what this would be used for. And these folks are given plenty of notice time and time again. And it's just, this is a last resort of using a collection agency. Thank you, Your Honor.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Tucker?
Thank you, Rusty. Who's doing collecting now? Do we have a group doing it now, or is this something we're adding on?
I don't think we do we? Commander Keenan?
Thank you, Your Honor. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Director Wachtel.
Oh, yes, we have been using a collection agency. We haven't used them for quite some time because there were a variety of different issues. So we sought proposals from a variety of different collection agency firms, and we selected one that's going to work hand in glove with a police ticketing software provider. We're going to transition that just for police parking tickets and things like that. It will be a seamless transition from the process of writing tickets through adjudication processes to the collection, regular collections of the bills. So there'll be plenty of opportunities for folks to pay once a ticket is adjudicated and that type of thing. And then it will be able to work seamlessly with some of our other collection efforts. For example, once we have some red light tickets or other tickets that are outstanding, we send those through the state's collection process. If they owe the village money, then we can have some of their income tax return that would be redirected towards it's called the iDrop program. And that's a statewide program that's available. And there are certain documentation requirements that need to be met. And this software this collection agency and the software will all work together so that we can take advantage of both processes through our collection agency as well as the state's program. Like I said, there's some documentation, there's some very stringent requirements to do both at the same time, and the outfit that firm that we're working with is able to do that. So we have been doing some collection efforts, but like I said, we went up for proposals because we wanted to get kind of a whole well-rounded package.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, we've got one agency handling all of the things, all the collecting, different areas of the thing, instead of having separate collection agencies that you had previously.
Correct. This is going to bring a lot of the collections, the in-house collections, under one collections firm. The ambulance billing, that will still be done by paramedic billing, but all the ticket collections and if we have any other general accounts receivable, general AR is how we refer to that or talk about them on a staff level. Those will all be done by this collections agency.
So we're consolidating is what we're basically doing.
Correct.
Okay.
And this will only be after we have exhausted all of our in-house ability to track down the money and try and find
Okay.
receipt payment.
So this, from what you said, this isn't just a one-time thing that they all of a sudden forgot to pay and now we're going after them. This is gonna be a long process before we end up with the collecting agency before that. Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 7. Ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the sale by public auction of personal property and seized vehicles owned by the Village of Villa Park. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. With the implementation of the new Voice over Internet Protocol phone system throughout village offices, old phones and the accompanying equipment are no longer of use to village staff. Proceeds from the sale of the phones, phone equipment, and vehicles will be placed into the Equipment Replacement Fund and used to purchase additional equipment. And Your Honor and Board, we have 100 Mitel Superset phones, 4025, 7 NEC series office phones, 14 Mitel 5320 phones, 1 Mitel controller, 1 ATRAN switch, 123 24 port, and then several vehicles. We have Village Vehicle 153, which is a 2004 Dodge Durango. We have Village number 143, which is a 2008 Ford Crown Victoria. We have a seized 2000 Dodge Intrepid. We have a seized 1997 Chrysler Town and Country van. We have a seized 1998 Kia Sportage. We have a seized 1999 Chevy S10 pickup. And then the final one, we have a seized 1999 Buick Century. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. Oh, wait, we
Did
need a
have
motion. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we didn't have a motion and a second.
Yeah, okay. That's second motion for this ordinance, please?
Second.
Okay. Trustee Ciala is first, and trustee Case is second. Now do we have any questions? Okay, the roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Salela,
Yes.
trustee Case.
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Number 8, a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, accepting a bid with Chicagoland Paving for the Washington Green Infrastructure Project in the amount of $859,999.30. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village will be receiving up to $1 million in Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funding through DuPage County for green infrastructure improvements in the Washington Street corridor. The project will reduce runoff to area combined sewers, reduce flooding, and increase water quality. The project was publicly advertised and the bid opening was held on August 15, 2017, with 9 contractors submitting bids. Public Works staff recommends awarding a contract to Chicago Land Paving in the amount of $859,999.30. Funds will be taken from the Stormwater Fund, account number 68-502-10-299. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution?
President Bolfus,
Trustee
I'd like to make that
Wagner?
motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll make that second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Seeing, trustee Wagner.
This is a little bit off topic here, but at our last meeting, we had a gentleman, a resident who lives on Grant Street, was concerned about parking. If you may recall, he spoke during the discussion about the North Avenue townhome parking issue. And it's a little digression from this, but he lives on Grant Street. Were we able to address that issue? Were we able to?
Sure. We have a contestant to answer that question. Rich Lerno?
Good evening. I did have a conversation with the resident and went over the future plans for Grant Street and his concerns. One, we're actually widening the road from its current configuration. And second, that his driveway apron, it actually came in very narrow and without a taper, so that'll be actually tapered. So he'll have better egress in and out of his driveway as well as across the street. So he said that's not enough currently, but he seemed extremely happy with the results of what's proposed.
Great, thank you,
Yeah, it should make it easier for him. Sure.
thank you.
Approximately 7 feet wider is what was proposed, so I mean, it was substantial distance.
Thank you.
Good. Trustee Tucker?
Yes, thank you. I need clarification on what's right in here. If we're supposedly getting funds for 100% of the construction grant, then why are we taking the funds out of the stormwater?
Which one do you want to do it?
Go ahead.
You got it?
We're actually, we're taking the funds out of there, but we'll get reimbursed.
Okay, so it's until we get the funds back. That's what I wondered. I wanted clarification on that, until we get the funds back to return it. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes,
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Volfus?
Yes. Item 9, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, accepting an engineering service agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company of Westchester, Illinois, for Phase 3 construction engineering service for the Bierman Ave Combined Sewer Separation Community Development Block Grant, disaster recovery. Funded projects in the amount not to exceed $45,165. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has awarded a construction contract for the combined sewer separation of Bierman Avenue between Holly Court and Division Street. Hancock has submitted a proposal to provide Phase 3 construction engineering services to the village at a cost not to exceed $45,165. Funding for the project would be taken from the Wastewater Fund Combined Sewer Separation Account 83-502-04-292. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I'd like to have that motion.
Do I have a second? Trustee Tucker? Second?
yes, I will
Okay,
second
thank you.
that motion.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes,
President Volfus?
Yes. Item 10, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an emergency purchase of pump replacements for the South Villa Lift Station with Flow Technonics, Inc., in the amount of $32,690. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The South Villa Sanitary Lift Station operates on 3 pumps. One of the pumps recently burned up and cannot be repaired. Flowtechnics, Inc. submitted a proposal to replace pumps and wiring at the South Villa Sanitary Lift Station in the amount of $32,690. Funds would be taken out of the wastewater account 83-502-02-299 for the repairs. And Your Honor and Board, the proposal is for 2 pumps and the installation and wiring, etc. And both the pumps will be matched. So one of the pumps will be taken out that cannot be replaced. The other pump will be taken out and be placed in storage just in case one of the pumps fails. So we always have 3 pumps operating. And this particular lift station receives effluent from the southern part of Villa Park and then lifts it to Salt Creek Sanitary Sewer District. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Trustee Kazone?
Just a question, and then Rich, or who can answer it. Do these pumps run continuous, or is like one pump runs and then when it's off, then the other one kicks on, or they intermittent like that?
Depending on the flow, the number of pumps that actually operate. So, and they actually go cyclic. So it's not just pump 1 constantly running, it's pump 1, then pump 2, and then possibly pump 2, pump 3. But there are times when actually all 3 pumps need to operate to handle the flow at that location.
Thanks.
Trustee Cielo?
I was wondering, is this a submersible lift station?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have in place a maintenance program for annual pump rebuilds? Or do we monitor it by hours and rebuild accordingly? Or do we wait for a failure prior to making a repair?
We have daily rounds of all of our lift stations to check the usage, the hours, the condition, both of the pumps, the backup generators, And actually, this company, Flotek Inc., is in the process of getting us a proposal to do a complete inventory and baseline maintenance schedule of all the pumps that we have within the village.
So we'll be able to project out replacement and/or needed repairs in the future for each pump station?
Correct.
Okay. That's all.
Trustee Wagner?
Just a question. I know that there was another lift station a few years back that we replaced pumps at. How old was this pump? Any idea?
This pump, I don't have the exact age, but typical life expectancy, we just replaced another pump that was approximately 16 years old. So
Okay.
you're getting about average 10 to 17 years. And actually, this pump here is a little bit heavier duty pump. It's actually what they consider a chopper pump, so it's able to actually grind some of the unfortunate items that people put into the sewer system. So a little bit larger horsepower than what's currently there, so it'll actually have a little bit better pumping capabilities.
That's all I had. Thank you.
I don't remember ever replacing these in the 10 years I've been up here, these pumps.
Not at South.
Right, right.
There was another lift station that we did replace pumps at, correct? That was a couple of years ago, a few years
Well, we
ago?
rebuilt them.
We built them, okay.
We rebuilt the Northville lift station, North Avenue, and how I said just recently, our Yale and Ridge lift station, we had a pump failure there, and that was 17 years old.
Okay.
That
Thank
was
you.
unable to be rebuilt. At times, I mean, we do actually pull the pumps, and there's sometimes where they can be rebuilt, depending on the condition.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes. My curiosity is on this, the pump that we're putting for backup. We have previously had pumps held as backup. And if I'm understanding you correctly, we don't have one right now?
That is correct.
Okay.
We've used that.
Okay, the pump that they're pulling as a backup, how long is that gonna last before we're gonna have to replace it? Or are we just using it as a temporary backup until if another pump goes out?
Depending on the situation, obviously that lift station is very vital to the village, and how I said, there's numerous times where it does operate on 3 pumps. We would use that in emergency situation to make sure that there's 3 pumps that are capable of pumping, and depending on the condition of the pump that's removed, if it's repairable, most likely, sometimes they're repairable, it's either sometimes a seal, a rotor or stator in some cases, or an impeller that can be rebuilt, but with sometimes the age, it cannot be. But the pump that would be, we don't know the life expectancy of, it would be a backup pump that would be there though.
Well, my question is, they're recommending replacing 2 pumps, so the second pump we're putting for a backup, is it about to fail? That
No,
they're,
it's not.
okay, it's still in good shape,
It's
they're
still in good
just,
shape, correct.
okay. They're just replacing it because of the age of that pump that they,
As Manager Keener explained, there's 3 pumps within the system, and how the piping is, we're having 2 match pumps that are, one that's completely burned up, that's not replaced, and the other one, so we have 2 match pumps that have the same pumping capabilities.
okay, so we're matching the pumps, that's why we're replacing 2 of them at the same time?
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else?
Just one question for you, Rich. Not knowing the complete sanitary system out there yet, do we have any pneumatic stations left within the village?
I'm sorry?
Any pneumatic lift stations left in the village of Villa Park?
Uh,
Air chambered, like we used to have on North Avenue by the townhomes up there.
Everything is submersible.
Everything's submersible.
Anything else? Okay, roll call votes.
Okay, trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes,
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
President Bolkus?
Yes. Number 11, a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing change order number 1 to the contract between Village of Villa Park and Orange Crush LLC for the 2017 street improvement project in the amount of $136,800. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with Orange Crush LLC of Hillside, Illinois, for the 2017 street improvement project. During construction, it was determined that large portions of the existing subgrade on West Adams Street between Addison Avenue and Ardmore Avenue were composed of very poor soils. Proposed change order number 1 consists of additional quantities as needed for the completion of additional pavement undercuts on Adams Street. The net amount of proposed change order number 1 is an addition of $136,800 for an adjusted contract amount of $2,158,800. The cost of this additional work would be paid out of the Street Improvement Fund referendum account number 60-502-03-299. Thank you, Your Honor.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I do have a question. Is this will the engineering firm overlooking the depth of thing is a possibility in the future on some of our repairs that happening again, or is this just happen temporary? I mean, it looks like if you've got a firm that is doing the job on testing that thing in several locations, they would have seen this previously, or is it just?
Go
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, the poor soils were located between 2 soil borings, and so it became known after some of the soils were compacted and it did not hold to their testing and vehicles driving over it. So it was found to be not adequate and had to be removed and replaced, if you will. And that's what the change order is for.
Will it occur before is my question, though? Is it
Pardon
something
me?
that can, my question was, is it possible that as we go forward, we will see these change orders happening in the future on some of the other projects because of the condition of our roads?
Well, there's always change orders.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes they're changed down, mostly they're changed up, because we're not 100% sure on any quantities and stuff like that. This is a little different situation. Hopefully, we don't have a whole lot more of these.
Okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, this is item 11.
That's correct.
I don't have a first and second.
Oh, did I not do a motion again?
We're gonna get used to it. I'll be here. I'm awake.
What's your job?
I know. Jeez. Hosanna, you should have covered for me and made up names.
Do you have a motion for a resolution?
Yeah, and I'll motion the rest of them so you're ahead.
Can we do that? Can we do it?
No,
Oh,
I just have to stand up.
Don Case, do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Cialis? Okay, now we can have a roll call.
Yes, trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee
We're
Case.
getting there.
Yes.
Trustee Solella.
Yes.
President Wolfus.
Yes, okay. Item 12. You want the resolution, the motion first, or?
I like the way you've been doing it. Does the board agree?
He's
That
covered it.
first it's explained, then a motion for your discussion.
Okay,
I kind of like that.
you do? Okay,
Yeah.
well, then I'm happy too. Number 12, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, accepting an agreement with Clark Dietz Incorporated of Chicago, Illinois for Phase 3 construction engineering services for the 2017 street improvement project in the amount not to exceed $68,718. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village had been using a seasonal employee to provide construction observation for the 2017 street improvement project. Due to a medical emergency, that employee is no longer able to perform the duties required. Clark Dietz has submitted a proposal to provide Phase 3 construction engineering services to the village at a cost not to exceed $68,718. Funding for the project would be taken from the Street Improvement Fund referendum account number 60-502-03-292. And Your Honor and Board, the past several years,
No, let's do a motion now before I forget,
okay,
because that's discussion. Okay.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Case?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Ciala?
Okay.
Okay, now, questions or comments? Go ahead, Manager Keener.
thank you, Your Honor. For the last several years, we've used a retired engineer as a seasonal employee for the village to do the Phase 3 construction oversight, which has saved the village some funding. However, obviously, due to medical reasons, he's no longer available, and Clark Dietz, on short notice, is willing to supply an individual for Phase 3 construction oversight for the entire 2017 street improvement project, which is quite a list we still have going on, including Central and Adams and some others. So we're very excited to keep on going, and we wish the seasonal employee some good health and to get healthy. Thank you, Ron.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
Speaking of, how many projects are we talking that he's gonna oversee?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, in fact, Deputy Director Rich Salerno and myself have discussed the exhaustive list. It's quite a list. We have many projects going on, and there'll be lots of measurements in the field to balance the quantities and closeouts and punch lists. So we've got a lot going on right now. So thank you, Your Honor. And Rich?
Be happy to identify, we had Adams from Addison to Ardmore, Grant Street from Terry to Monroe, Cross from Terry to Julia, Ridge, Addison to Harvard, Sunset, Addison to Yale, Harvard from North Avenue to the dead end. We've got Belden from Harvard also to the dead end. We've got Washington Street east of Route 83 to the dead end. We've also had some improvements at the fire station parking lot, and we've got also improvements at the golf course parking lot. So that's the partial list besides then what manager.
So is that what, 10?
I didn't add them all, but. That is kind of
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, just wanted to know.
Anyone else? Roll call vote.
Okay, trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Number 13, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a contract with Corrective Asphalt Materials LLC of South Roxanne, Illinois, for the 2017 asphalt surface rejuvenating treatment program in the amount of $75,133.26. Andrew Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a continuing program for extending the life of previously resurfaced and reconstructed asphalt pavements. A rejuvenating agent known as Reclamite will be applied to the surface of selected streets, thereby extending the life of the pavement. Village staff publicly bid the project with one contractor submitting a bid. Corrective Asphalt Materials LLC of South Roxana, Illinois submitted a bid in the amount of $75,133.26. There is $75,000 budgeted for this work in Street Improvement Fund account number 60-502-02-299. Thank you, Your Honor.
We have a motion for the resolution.
President Bolfus, make that motion.
Trustee Wagner. Trustee Case?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Okay, trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item number 14 is public comments on non-agenda items. Do you have any, Turk?
We have no public participating in that item.
Number 15, the clerk's report.
Yes, I just have one item to mention. There will be a SALT meeting coming up on September 13, Wednesday the 13th, and that is the first one that starts basically the new season from fall to spring. So I just want to let the senior community know that we are starting that up again with the police department. Thank you, that's all.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the trustees' report. We'll start on my right with trustee Cielo.
I'd just like to take a moment to thank our new police chief, Mike Lay, for looking into street parking issues around our schools. That was in need of some attention and redirection of some of our residents. Done a fine job, seems to be flowing good, and I appreciate you guys doing your job, keeping us safe. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kazone?
No report tonight.
Trustee Case?
No report tonight.
Trustee Tucker?
No report tonight.
Trustee Wagner?
Yeah, I just have a couple things. I want to once again remind folks about the Welcome Home American Veterans event that's coming up on September 23rd. As mentioned before, they're going to have a lot of resources there for veterans and their families about benefits. And then also, and they're looking for volunteers. And then also the Love Your Neighbor Day, that's being sponsored by the Christian Church of Villa Park. They are still looking for volunteers for that. That's also on the 23rd. And if you call 630-833-7262, they can hook you up with a volunteer opportunity to help someone in the community who really needs help. And I just had a couple of questions. I saw in the manager's report, and I applaud it, that we're going to be donating bikes that we've collected, that we picked up, to Working Bikes, which I think is a great organization. And I applaud the police chief for initiating that. I just want to make sure when we find a bike, we're going to be checking to make sure that it's not on a list.
Yes, anytime we have a bike that's found or recovered, we check the serial number on it. We have a new database that we have instead of the old card system, and they are run against that. And then we are required to keep them for a minimum of 6 months. So when that 6-month period hits, we do run them again to see if anything has popped up into the system. And if not, then we are eligible to go with them.
Great, thank you. And the last question I had was, we used to have an officer, if you will, who kind of monitored training for the Open Meetings Act for commissioners, and I assume for trustees. Who is that individual, and are we keeping track of who's up to date with regards to their training?
The manager's confidential secretary, Kelly,
Okay.
handles that. She mentioned some of them to me when I saw her on Wednesday that needed to be done, so.
Okay.
I'm a little confused, though. When you're re-elected, do you have to do that again?
I believe yes on the, exactly, on the,
You do,
yeah,
okay.
computer.
So everybody who was just re-elected needs to, or elected needs to get that done.
That's right.
Okay,
And that's all I had. Thank you.
okay, thank you. President's report, I just have one thing. As you know, we're scheduled for a coffee with the board on this coming Saturday. I'm not available on Saturday. Just trying to poll the board to see if we have a number of board members who'd be available, so.
I'm available.
You're available? Is there anyone else? Okay, so we have some, so, okay, and, so that'll be, send that to Kelly, she's gonna handle an agenda. Somebody wants an agenda, so, okay, that's all I have. Manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. We just have a couple of items. I just want to remind everyone that the village offices will be closed on Monday due to the holiday. And then we were doing something rather new. So Wednesdays every week, the Village Hall hours is going to change. So Village Hall will be open at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays, unless it happens to be a holiday, etc. And that way, if some folks need some assistance opening up a water account, anything of that nature, they can come into Village Hall and come into finance at 7 a.m. and it'll be normal closing hours. And Your Honor,
When's that start?
September 6th, that Wednesday.
Thank you.
I probably should have mentioned that, Your Honor.
Thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. And then, Your Honor and Board, I'd like Deputy Director Rich Salerno to kind of give everyone an update on the St. Charles Road Bridge. I know that we're probably all eager to learn.
Well, the signs are up now, so people are asking.
Yes, good evening. As the President said, the changeable message boards have been installed on St. Charles Road, both east and west of the actual bridge. Those are planned to be up all this week, and with the actual lane reconfiguration is proposed to start Tuesday after Labor Day. That lane reconfiguration has been approved by IDOT, and we anticipate that being in place for approximately 2 months. As well, some temporary measures to support some of the inferior deck beams gets replaced. After that time, it'll go back to the normal configuration where it's currently at with the 5 lanes. So, the lane reconfiguration is still going to have 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. It's just the lane taper and left turn lane is going to be shortened to accommodate the narrowing of the lanes. Progress for design phase, so waiting approval from IDOT for design phase, so that's in the works. Hopefully we hear very shortly on their behalf to move forward with that, the next step of the bridge.
Anything else?
I passed, Your Honor.
Okay. I guess the next item is motion to adjourn. Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I make
Do
a
I have a
motion.
second?
Do I get to clap?
Trustee Ciela? All in
Yes.
favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
New
We're adjourned.
agenda.
We'll be back in next month sometime.
9/11.
September 11th.
One of those days.